The Hidden Truth, Episode 1. When the drills went silent. The drill had been screaming for hours. 6, maybe 7. Steel grinding against stone older than any map had shown. Lena's ears had learned to ignore it, but her body had not. Every vibration traveled through the rig, through her bones, through her chest. The sound was constant, relentless, mechanical, but somehow alive. Jacob wiped sweat from his brow and muttered something under his breath. Lena ignored him, her gaze locked on the monitors. Every number, every waveform, flickered in rhythm with the drill. Until it didn't. Then it stopped. Not slowed, not jammed, not a hiccup. Just silence. The sudden absence of sound was shocking. Lena's hand hovered above the console. The monitors blinked faithfully. Numbers scrolled, lights flickered, but the machine beneath them was gone. Power fluctuation? Jacob's voice came, low and cautious. No. Lena shook her head, unsure whether she had spoken to him or herself. Something else. She could feel it before she even saw it. A pulse in the stone. Slow, deliberate, almost like a heartbeat. Not human, not mechanical. Something conscious. "This isn't a fault line," she whispered, her voice tight, trembling just enough to betray her calm. The structure below, it's responding. Around her, the crew shifted nervously. A dropped tool clattered across the metal floor, echoing through the shaft. Shadows leapt and stretched along jagged walls, reflecting off cables, monitor screens, and stray metal beams. Every instinct screamed for them to move, but they couldn't. They were caught, frozen, watching something they didn't understand. Lena's fingers itched to touch the readings. The numbers pulsed in perfect rhythm. They weren't random, not accidental, conscious. Jacob took a cautious step toward the drill. Did anyone? He stopped mid-sentence. The drill head shimmered. Not sparks, not heat. Something else. Impossible. Layer by layer, atom by atom, the metal unraveled. The drill, the cables, even the tools on the rig seemed to obey some invisible force, disassembling themselves in silence. Tools slid off trays and bounced softly to the floor. The crew froze. Breath caught. Fear rippled like electricity. A low hum rose from the stone beneath them. Not mechanical, not alive in the usual sense, but aware, patient, observing. "You are not meant to return." The words didn't echo in the air. They pressed directly into Lena's mind. Soft, cold, absolute. She staggered, gripping the console. Her heart raced, but it was a strange mixture of fear and anticipation. Around her, murmurs began, whispers, questions left unspoken. The rig trembled. Not violently, but enough to make them aware that whatever had stirred below was alive, and it was aware of them. Lena's eyes darted across the room. Annika's hand trembled as she adjusted the monitor. "Do you feel it?" she whispered. "Yes," Lena said. "I feel it. Everywhere." The shimmer returned, brighter this time. Not light. Not fire. Something living, bending the air itself. Lena could see it, threading through the atoms of the rig, tugging, unraveling, weaving. Jacob tried to step forward again, but his feet felt rooted. He looked at Lena. "What is happening?" She shook her head. Words failed. Explanation failed. This was beyond science, beyond reason. Faint shadows danced along the walls. They weren't illusions, Lena knew that, yet they didn't make sense. Shapes too fluid, edges too sharp, moving in impossible directions. The pulse beneath them matched her heartbeat. Or maybe it was her heartbeat syncing with it. A metallic clatter echoed. Tools fell from trays above. Lena flinched, but the sound felt purposeful, like a warning. The crew whispered more urgently now. "Should we leave?" Jacob's voice cracked. "No," Lena said firmly, even though her mind screamed otherwise. "We can't. We don't know what we've awakened." The hum deepened. It threaded through her mind, through the walls, through the bones of the rig itself. Every nerve on edge, every hair standing on end. She realized then that the pulse had an intelligence, a language older than humanity, older than the continents above them. Something moved far below, massive, immense, impossible to see clearly, but every vibration, every subtle tremor suggested presence. Watching, waiting, patient, ancient. Lena's mind flashed. Visions, or maybe thoughts not her own. Spires of stone glowing faintly, veins of mineral pulsing like blood, shadows moving with purpose, shapes she could not name, could not comprehend, yet they were aware. They were alive, and aware of them. Jacob whispered again, fear threading his words. "Lena, what is it?" She could not answer. Not yet. Not with words. The heartbeat beneath them quickened. The rig seemed to inhale with them, exhale with them. Even the air felt alive, charged with intent. The drill was gone, the noise gone, but the pulse remained. And it was deliberate, measuring, testing, observing. The shimmer moved across the rig again. Tools floated briefly before falling. Lena realized she wasn't just seeing the shimmer. She was feeling it, thinking with it, understanding something impossible. Her chest tightened. The crew's fear mirrored hers, but beneath the fear was awe and recognition. They had trespassed into something ancient, something patient, something that had been waiting. Lena swallowed hard. She forced herself to take a step forward. Every step echoed in the rig, bouncing off stone and shadow. The pulse matched her step. She realized then that it knew them, knew her. A clatter above, the floor shuddered. The hum deepened. The presence, it was alive, intelligent, deliberate. She swallowed again. Her mind raced, but not with panic. Anticipation, connection. Something impossible had been stirred. The rig creaked. Lights flickered. Shadows shifted like liquid. Lena's hands tightened around the console. Her pulse and the pulse beneath them were indistinguishable now, and she knew, with absolute certainty, that this was only the beginning. The earth beneath them had awakened, and it was watching. The rig groaned under a weight that wasn't there. Every shadow seemed thicker, heavier, as if the walls themselves had grown aware of the intruders. Lena's chest tightened. The pulse from beneath them throbbed in rhythm with her own heartbeat, insistent, demanding attention. Jacob's hand brushed hers. She didn't pull away. No words could explain what they were feeling, the tremor of something immense, unseen, deliberate. Anika whispered, "It's moving. It knows we're here." Her voice trembled, barely audible over the low hum of the underground. The shadows shifted again, stretching along jagged walls like living ink. Tools clattered to the floor of their own accord. Lena jumped. The air felt charged, almost electric, as though reality itself had grown thinner. "It's testing us," Lena said finally, voice steady but low. "It wants to know who we are." Jacob swallowed hard. "Testing? What does that even mean?" "I don't know," she admitted, "but it's alive, intelligent, and patient, very patient." The hum beneath them grew louder, resonant, vibrating through the walls and the floor. Lena placed her hand against a steel support beam. The vibration traveled up her arm, settling in her chest. The pulse had a pattern now, deliberate, communicating, almost speaking. A faint glow appeared far below, flickering against jagged stone like distant firelight. Shapes moved within the glow, impossible forms that shouldn't exist. Lena's breath caught. Her pulse matched the rhythm of the unseen heartbeat beneath them. Jacob stumbled back. "We need to get out of here," he said, urgency rising in his voice. "No," Lena replied, her eyes locked on the glow. "We can't leave. We need to understand it. We have to see what it is." The crew murmured among themselves, fear twisting their voices. Tools scraped along metal, and the rig seemed to shift slightly beneath them, subtle but undeniable. It was alive, aware, and its awareness was focused on them. Lena's mind flickered with visions, or maybe they were memories that weren't hers. Stone spires taller than mountains, veins of mineral glowing faintly like molten blood. Creatures moving with impossible geometry, all of them aware, watching, waiting. A metallic echo rolled across the cavern. Lena's stomach dropped. She could feel the presence adjusting, responding to their reactions. "You shouldn't be here." The thought came again, pressed into her mind, calm and omniscient. Anika stepped closer, voice quivering. Are we in danger?" "Yes," Lena said, almost in a whisper. "But not like anything we've known. This isn't about killing. Not yet. It's about observation, judgment, recognition." Jacob's gaze swept the cavern, eyes wide. "Recognition of what?" "It knows us," Lena said, voice taut with awe and fear. "It knows everything about us." A low thrum began to resonate from the walls. It wasn't just sound, it was pressure, sensation, communication. Lena closed her eyes and felt it wrap around her thoughts, probing, testing, measuring. Suddenly, the ground beneath them shifted, not violently, but purposefully. Lena stumbled slightly. Jacob grabbed her arm, steadying her. The glow intensified below, shapes clearer now. Massive forms moved with impossible grace. Lena's breath caught as one figure emerged partially into view. Impossible geometry, metallic sheen, yet undeniably alive. It moved with deliberation, as though it had been waiting for them for centuries. "Step back," Jacob urged. His voice shook, eyes darting nervously to every shadow, every movement. Lena did not move. She couldn't. Something inside her compelled her forward. Curiosity, awe, a strange recognition of something beyond comprehension. The hum grew louder, almost melodic. It pulsed with meaning, with rhythm, with intelligence. Lena realized it was trying to communicate, not in words, but in emotion, in vibration, in thought. "Do you feel it?" Anika's voice was barely a whisper. "Yes," Lena said. Her eyes remained fixed on the glow. "It's alive, and it's aware of us. Every thought, every motion, every heartbeat. It's watching, learning, judging." The crew huddled together, fear and awe intertwined. Lena's mind raced with possibilities. What had they awoken? What was the purpose of this intelligence beneath the earth? The pulse beneath them quickened suddenly, synchronized with Lena's own heartbeat. The rig creaked again. Shadows shifted with uncanny speed. Something moved far below, larger than any of them could comprehend, but careful, deliberate, calculating. "You've awakened it," a voice, or a thought, pressed inside Lena's skull. Calm, patient, absolute. The crew froze, instinctively silent. They understood, without words, the gravity of their trespass. This was no mere discovery. This was a confrontation with something ancient, patient, and aware. Lena swallowed hard. Her hands shook slightly as she gripped the console. She realized then that their mission, their drilling, their search for minerals, it had led them here to something that had been waiting, watching, judging, and far below, something massive stirred, unseen but undeniable. Every pulse, every tremor, every subtle echo told them they were being measured, observed, understood. The hum faded slightly, leaving only the sound of their breaths and the occasional clatter of displaced tools. The rig felt smaller now, constricted, alive in ways they could barely comprehend. Lena looked at her team, eyes wide, faces pale, fear and wonder intertwined. No one moved, no one spoke. They all knew, in their own way, that this was only the beginning. And then, deep beneath the stone, something shifted deliberately, purposefully, and the cavern seemed to exhale. Lena's voice caught. "It's waiting." The crew swallowed. The shadows shifted again. The heartbeat thrummed beneath them. And they understood one terrible, exhilarating truth. They were not alone. The earth had awakened, and it was aware. Episode 2, The City Beneath the Crust. They descended where no human record had ever pointed. The platform moved without cables, without visible force. Stone slid past them in slow, silent layers, each stratum telling a story older than language. What should have been crushing pressure felt guided, as if the earth itself had agreed to let them pass. No one spoke. Jacob stood rigid, knuckles white around the railing. Anika's breathing came shallow, measured, as though too much sound might offend whatever carried them downward. Lena stood at the front, her eyes fixed ahead, though there was nothing yet to see. Only darkness. But it wasn't empty darkness. It was waiting. The vibration beneath their boots was steady now. Not the violent churn of drilling, not the scream of machines forcing their way through stone. This was smoother, intentional, almost gentle. "We're still moving," Jacob whispered, as if volume alone could provoke disaster. "Yes," Lena said, "but not falling." The descent slowed. The darkness ahead thinned, not abruptly, but like mist retreating from light. And then the earth opened. The platform eased to a halt at the edge of something vast beyond comprehension. Gasps rippled through the team before anyone could stop themselves. It wasn't a cavern. It was a horizon. Before them stretched a city, enormous, ancient, impossible. It filled the subterranean world from one unseen edge to another, rising and descending in layers that curved with the planet itself. There were no straight lines, no sharp corners. Structures spiraled upward like frozen thoughts, branching and reconnecting as though grown rather than built. "This," Annika whispered, "this can't be real." Veins of light pulsed through every surface, walls, towers, pathways, like a circulatory system. The glow shifted as the team stepped forward, responding to motion, to presence. Deep blues softened into amber, then into pale green that throbbed slowly, rhythmically. Lena's chest tightened. "This isn't geology," she said quietly. "It's design." The air felt charged, not hot, not cold, alive. Each breath vibrated faintly in her lungs, as though the atmosphere itself carried sound at frequencies below hearing. No engines, no wind, no voices. Yet the city was not empty. Movement rippled at the edge of perception. At first, Lena thought it was light bending oddly across the architecture. Refraction, optical distortion, the brain struggling to map unfamiliar geometry. Then a shape detached itself from the glow, and another, and another. They emerged slowly, deliberately from between the structures. Tall, taller than any human, but their forms refused to settle. One moment, they appeared solid, the next translucent, as though reality had not yet decided what they should be. Patterns flowed beneath their surfaces, symbols sliding across them like living language. No faces, no eyes, no mouths. Yet Lena felt their attention like pressure against her skin. The team froze. Fear arrived late, cautious, uncertain how to behave in a place where the rules were unclear. Weapons felt obscene here. Knowledge felt irrelevant. The presence returned. Not loud, not invasive, ancient. "You walk upon the skin of a world you do not understand." The words did not echo. They arrived whole inside the mind, layered with meaning, history, and weight. Lena staggered slightly, gripping the railing as the thought settled. Jacob swore under his breath. "They're inside our heads." "No," Lena said, her voice barely steady. "We're inside theirs." The figures drifted closer, gliding rather than walking. As they moved, the city responded. Light brightened along their paths, structures subtly realigning as if acknowledging their passage. "We are the Keth," the presence said. "Before your seas settled, before your skies learned to breathe, before you learned to name yourselves." Anika shook her head slowly, tears forming unbidden. "You've been here all this time?" "We have always been here." Jacob found his voice. "Then why hide?" The Keth paused, no hesitation, consideration. "We did not hide," they said. "You looked away." The city pulsed, as though affirming the statement. Lena felt pressure building behind her eyes. Images flickered at the edges of thought, continents tearing themselves apart, oceans boiling, skies thick with ash. And beneath it all, light, always light, patient, enduring. "You watched us," Jacob said, anger threading his fear. Wars, extinction, pollution. You watched and did nothing. We intervened, the Keth replied. You forgot. The word landed heavily. Forgot. Lena's breath caught. Memories surfaced, dreams she had dismissed as childhood nonsense. Endless halls of glowing stone, a sense, persistent and irrational, that the earth was listening. The Keth's attention narrowed. And you, they said, carry echoes of us. The city brightened around Lena. Not dramatically, not violently, but unmistakably. Lights along the nearest structures warmed from blue to gold. The hum in the air deepened, resonating through her chest, stronger than before. Jacob stared at her. Lena, it's reacting to you. I don't understand, she whispered. I've never... You listened, the Keth said, before you knew how. Her head throbbed, the pressure behind her eyes intensified, not painful, but overwhelming. Knowledge brushed against her thoughts, too vast to grasp, too old to translate. You were led here, the Keth continued, by the world you claim as yours. Annika's voice shook. Led? By what? By the planet, the Keth said. It is not yours. A tremor rippled through the city. Not an earthquake, but something closer to a breath. Lena felt suddenly small, fragile, temporary. What do you want from us? She asked. The Keth drifted closer still. The glow within their forms intensified, symbols flowing faster now. We want you to remember. The city responded. Pathways unfolded where none had been moments before. Structures parted seamlessly, opening corridors that stretched deeper into the glowing expanse. You will walk with us, the Keth said, and the truth you buried will rise. Lena swallowed. Far above them, the surface world felt distant, thin, like a story told too often to remain true. She took a step forward. The city welcomed her. The city did not merely allow them to enter, it adjusted. As Lena stepped forward, the ground beneath her feet softened, not physically, but perceptually. A faint hum in the air shifted pitch, aligning with her heartbeat. Lights along the pathway brightened, just enough to guide her. Like a living thing, deciding how much of itself to reveal. Jacob followed instinctively. Annika hesitated only a second before moving as well. None of them spoke. Silence here was not absence. It was attention. The pathway unfolded ahead, smooth and dark, veined with faint lines of light that pulsed in slow, deliberate patterns. Not decorative, communicative. Lena felt it in the back of her skull. Like pressure before a storm. This place, Jacob finally murmured, his voice low, careful, as though raising it might offend the city. It's reacting to you. I know, Lena replied. She hadn't meant to say it aloud. The words slipped out, thin and uncertain. I don't know why, but I know. Annika scanned the surroundings, her hand hovering near the sidearm she already knew would be useless. That's not comforting. Before Lena could answer, the light ahead thickened, folding inward like mist pulled into a shape. The figures emerged again, the Keth, more clearly this time. Still fluid, still refracted, but closer to coherence. Tall, elongated. Their forms suggested symmetry without committing to it, as though geometry itself bent around them. They did not walk, they arrived. You feel us because you have always felt us, the voice said. Not in the air, but directly behind Lena's thoughts. Not loud, not gentle, certain. Her breath caught. Memories rose unbidden. A childhood dream of standing in a vast, glowing cavern. A recurring sensation she'd never explained. The sense that the earth beneath her feet was listening. I don't understand, she said, aloud and inward at the same time. One of the Keth drifted closer. As it did, the lights in the city responded, dimming elsewhere, concentrating here, as though the city itself leaned in. You are not meant to, the voice replied. Understanding comes later. Resonance comes first. Jacob stepped forward despite himself. What did you mean? He said carefully. When you said she carries echoes of you. The Keth paused. It was the first hesitation Lena had felt from them. "Your species learns in fragments," the voice said at last. "You discard what does not fit. You forget what frightens you." Images flooded Lena's mind. Not visions, records. Early humans standing at the mouths of caves, staring down into glowing depths. Stone tools abandoned in awe. Fires extinguished by something vast and unseen. Whispers passed down as myth, then distorted into religion, then buried beneath centuries of certainty. "You were not the first to descend," the Keth continued. "Nor were you the first to turn away." Annika swallowed hard. "You've been here the whole time?" "Yes." The city brightened in response, revealing a scale Lena hadn't yet grasped. The spires stretched far beyond sight, disappearing into shadowed heights and deeper chasms below. Pathways branched endlessly, some glowing, others dormant, as though waiting for inhabitants long gone or yet to return. "We are not beneath you," the Keth said. "We are within the same body. You walk upon the skin of a world you do not understand." Lena felt a tremor ripple through the city. Not an earthquake, something subtler, a shift. Far above, sensors they'd left behind screamed silently into dead air. On the surface, satellites struggled, maps glitched, boundaries blurred. Data failed not catastrophically, but selectively, like a mind choosing what to forget. "Why now?" Jacob asked. "Why let us find you?" The Keth's presence deepened, their forms sharpening slightly, like a lens focusing. "Because the forgetting has reached its limit." Lena's chest tightened. "What does that mean?" Another pause. "Your kind drills without listening, builds without memory, extracts without reverence. You are close to wounds that do not heal." The images returned, fractures spreading through the planet's mantle, stress points glowing hot, ancient systems destabilizing. "You are not destroying us," the voice said. "You are destroying yourselves." Annika exhaled slowly. "So this is a warning?" "No," the Keth replied. "This is recognition." The city shifted again. A structure nearby unfolded, its surface parting to reveal something like a chamber, smooth, luminous, waiting. "You carry echoes because your lineage brushed against us and did not break," the voice said to Lena alone. "Your mind learned to listen when others closed." Lena shook her head, overwhelmed. "I'm not special." The Keth moved closer still, their light intensifying. "No," they agreed. "You are ordinary." The word landed with unexpected weight, which is why this matters. Beyond the chamber, the city extended endlessly, alive with motion now. Other presences stirring, pathways awakening, lights rippling outward like a signal sent across vast distances. The Keth turned their attention outward, beyond the city, beyond the team. "Above you," they said. "The ones who already know are afraid." Jacob stiffened. "The government?" A ripple of something like amusement passed through the Keth. "Names are your habit," the voice replied. "Control is theirs." Images flashed again. Classified briefings, sealed archives, early seismic anomalies deliberately mislabeled, expeditions erased, whistleblowers discredited, a truth managed, contained, rationed. "They chose silence," the Keth said. "We allowed it." Lena felt anger flare beneath her fear. Allowed it? Because the surface was not ready, and perhaps still is not. The chamber sealed behind them without a sound. The city dimmed elsewhere, concentrating its glow here, as though drawing a line, inside and outside. "You have crossed a threshold," the Keth said. "Return is not guaranteed." Lena met the shifting light where a face might have been. Her voice trembled, but she didn't look away. "Then why bring us this far?" The answer came not as words, but as a sensation, an immense, ancient patience wearing thin. "Because forgetting has consequences," the voice said, "and remembering has a cost." Far above, the surface world lost another piece of itself, quietly, unnoticed, irreversibly. And deep within the earth, the city prepared to be known again.